Hey guys, Ryan here with Pitching Tutors, and today in this video we'll cover what we call the drift, which is a transfer of weight from the back leg to the front. At this point, the player should be in the knee raised position with all of his weight loaded onto his back foot. From the loaded position, you can start to let your weight drift forward, leading with the hip. The pitcher's shoulder should be coming forward on the same plane as the hip is coming forward. You don't want the hip to be coming forward with the head and shoulders leaning back. They should all be moving forward together as one unit. The knee should be held towards the back leg as the weight drifts forward. To do a proper drift, you want to pretend like someone's left a chair in front and to the left of the rubber, and the pitcher's goal is to try to sit in that chair from the loaded position while keeping his knee raised and behind his hip. To do this, the front hip moves towards that imaginary chair for as long as possible before the front leg starts to come out of the bent and raised position. This is super uncomfortable for pitchers to learn, and it takes a lot of balance and leg control. In the beginning, you may just want to start out with a mini drift and build on it as practices progress. The purpose of the drift is to get gravity to work in your favor and to help shift the weight from the back to the front leg. When players get better at the drift, their butts are much lower to the ground before they move their front leg forward to catch themselves. If they hold the drift for too long, they'll lose their balance and won't be able to plant their front foot. If they don't hold the drift for long enough, they won't be able to get the benefit of the momentum generated by the motion and will lose speed on the pitch as a result. The stride length is the distance from the rubber to where the front leg would land during foot plant. A good length to shoot for is 90% of the pitcher's height. So if your player is 5'5" or 65 inches tall, you'd want to mark a hash mark about 58 inches from the rubber and have the player step on that hash mark with his toe on every pitch. You're getting the most out of your drift if you're striding to 90% and you're able to get over your front knee on the follow through. Most kids just starting out won't be able to drift to their full potential. It takes a lot of practice to be able to get comfortable with this movement. We may spend weeks and even months every season working on the drift without even caring about where the ball ends up downrange. Inner thigh and leg flexibility is very important to get your stride long enough to get a good drift. We'll have a video on stretching for pitchers later, in which we'll cover flexibility and recovery stretches. I have to say that being a drift pitcher is one of the most uncomfortable things to learn at first because you feel like if you drift too far, you're going to fall over. We actually tested to see how far we can drift by drifting to the limit and then falling over. Then we set that stride length as the new target to reach. You can see how that would be kind of uncomfortable to practice. The grandmaster, greatest of all time, drift and drive pitcher that I've seen is Tim Lincecum. The only way a 5'9" and 160-pound pitcher could reach 100 miles per hour, in my opinion, is with a massive drift and an epic leg drive. If you look at old film of Tim pitch, you'll see that his stride length is 115% of his height and his back leg drive is beyond belief. So if you've never done so, search up Tim Lincecum pitching mechanics on YouTube and watch it for yourself. But us normal guys are just trying to reach 90% of our height with our stride length, and that's considered doing really well. So if you're interested in pitching mechanics, hit the like button and help us get this content to as many people as possible. And I'll see you in the next video.